it's just frustrating to come in here and talk about them losing to teams like Atlanta and Cleveland, right? I mean, we going into the game, we go, all right, well, you got to beat Atlanta. I mean, they're below you in the standings. They're terrible on the road. They were 9-22 on the road before the game, but you give up 140 to them. But something's got to change. I don't think it's as simple as just saying, all right, Scotty's not the man. I don't believe that's the case. There's something with the personnel that's just not right. What can this team do?
Well, they're stuck. Obviously, we know the financial commitments that have been made to their big three of Wall, Beal, and Porter. But I think the bigger picture is, as awful as the season started, they've been dealing with injuries really all year long. And it's not an excuse, but it's the reality when the big guy in the middle was supposed to be here day one. He wasn't even available day one. It ended up being a back surgery. Not sure when Dwight's going to come back, if he comes back this year. You got Markieff Morris, who has been out of the lineup. I think the two guys that, besides Bradley Beal, obviously, the other two MVPs this year would be Jeff Green and Trevor Ariza. And unfortunately, with the trade deadline coming Thursday, they might be your most valuable assets to make a move. But my question then would be, well, why the hell would you move them? They've actually been the most consistent veterans that we've had besides Beal this year. So they're in a tough situation. To me, I say just keep it the way it is and just ride out this season and then do whatever you got to do in the summer, because it just doesn't make any sense to me to make a move just to make a move. I know people on Twitter got at me last week for saying that, but I don't feel like making like a small move is going to make this team any better. I'll tell you what you do have that's been a find. Hey, guys, Jordan McRae is a professional scorer.
Yep.
And this could be something that could be a move, tear up that two-way deal and give him a little more money that can help the Wizards down the stretch of the season because, guys, he is a bucket. When the Wizards were down 15 last night, Scott Brooks had to put him in, and there was instant offense. There was instant flow on that side of the floor.
I know that Ted and Bradley said that they have no intentions of doing this, but what's the point of keeping Ariza and Otto, if you think you can trade him, and Green? I'd say go into a mini tank mode. I really do. There's no point. They're not going to go to the playoffs, and if they do, they'll be the 8th seed and get boat raced in the first round. There's just no point in that. So I would say do a slightly different version of a tankathon the rest of the year. Try and improve your positions in the draft. You're getting rid of guys who are going to be free agents anyway. I don't understand just staying pat with what they have. Doesn't make sense to me.
I thought it was interesting. I talked to Brad last week. It's on our Wizards Talk podcast, which you can download and hear it. He said that the Wizards are going to make the playoffs, period. Said it with so much conviction that he had me believing it. And I think what many people forget is making the playoffs is still making the playoffs. And remember, guys, this is a double bottom line business. There's the money aspect of it. The Wizards will be making money making the playoffs. Okay, not making the playoffs, you don't. Right? In theory, when you're talking about a mini tank, that means not making the playoffs. And that's
I don't know if they're good enough to make the playoffs.
You know what? Time is winding down. You're right. You're right.
Not when you're the second worst defense in the league. Come on.
But there's some bad teams in the East also. And the problem is they're getting beat by those bad teams, and that's what's hurting them. But still, again, I'm not me personally. I wouldn't make a move just to make a move. It doesn't make sense to me. If you're still trying to win, it gets on my nerves. When I hear tanking, it's
I don't like
such
it
a
either.
negative connotation to it.
I love
and
it.
if you've ever competed, in anything in your life, anything, I don't care if it's cards or whatever, you never go into it going, well, I'll play better. I'll have a better hand in about 5 or 6 more hands. Okay, you don't do that. You go in thinking I'm going to win this card game, or you're playing pickup with the 50-year-olds at the Y. Nobody, this whole thought of just quitting, that's basically what it is. It's another word for quitting. And the guys in that room aren't going to do it. No. I can tell you that much. Those guys are trying to get a check, especially those guys that are on those one-year deals.
Of course.
They're not going to sit there and try to lose just for the sake of trying to help the organization get better standing to get a better draft pick. That's just not going to happen.
Well, I'm not saying the players would never tank. GMs and coaches tank, and that's what I'm saying. They could put their team in a better position to lose games and play guys like Jordan McRae more often. I don't know.
I think you have a chance of winning with Jordan McRae, to be honest with you.
Well, play him more then. Play him more.